Welcome to a journey of transformation on Soul Growth Stories, where we explore the hidden paths to true personal victory today. Meet Liam, the boy who was always destined to finish last, trailing far behind the dust of every single competitor. While the world cheered loudly for the winners holding trophies, Liam remained a forgotten shadow in the background of their success. He felt the heavy weight of failure pressing on his small shoulders, wondering why he could never keep up with them. It was not just sports. In every classroom and every test, Liam seemed to lag behind the pace of everyone else. The silence at home was louder than words, as his parents struggled to hide their disappointment in his lack of achievement. One evening, staring into the mirror, Liam decided that chasing others was a game he was destined to always lose. He picked up a simple notebook and a cheap stopwatch, deciding to change the rules of the game entirely for himself. The next morning, under the cover of thick fog, Liam ran alone, with no one else around to measure against. He did not look for a competitor to beat. Instead, he stared only at the digital numbers on his own wrist. He wrote down his time, not caring if it was slow, because this number was now his only true rival. Day after day, he returned to that same lonely road, pushing his body to beat the ghost of yesterday's effort. 5 seconds faster than before, a tiny victory that went unnoticed by the world but meant everything to his soul. Years passed quietly as the boy became a young man, yet his ritual remained the sacred anchor of his life. He worked a humble job in a warehouse, but he applied his secret philosophy to every single box he lifted. While others complained about the work, Liam quietly tracked his efficiency, striving to be better than he was last week. He found a strange peace in solitude, realizing that the race against oneself is the only one that truly matters. One day, a coworker caught a glimpse of his notebook, puzzled by the endless pages of numbers and personal records. Liam simply pointed to a note that read, "Better than yesterday," leaving his colleague silent and deep in sudden thought. He entered races not to win medals, but to test if his discipline had forged a stronger version of himself. Crossing the line, he ignored the ranking board and smiled, knowing he had shattered his own previous personal best time. Nearby, a young athlete sat weeping on the curb, crushed by the weight of coming in second place that day. Liam picked up the discarded medal and approached the boy, seeing a reflection of his own past pain and sorrow. He sat down and silently offered his worn notebook, showing the boy a different way to measure success and worth. The pages revealed a lifetime of tiny improvements, proving that the real battle is always fought against your own limits. He spoke softly to the boy, explaining that comparing yourself to others is a thief that steals your true joy. Days later, they were seen running together, the boy no longer looking at others, but focused on his own rhythm. Soon, others began to join them, the misfits, the slow runners, and those who felt they were never good enough. They ran together as a group, yet each person was engaged in a private and sacred battle with themselves. Liam did not act like a harsh coach. He was simply a guide who showed them the power of self-growth. He taught them to track their progress religiously, turning their focus inward rather than outward toward the noise of society. A woman celebrated walking just a few extra steps, and Liam celebrated with her, as if she had won gold. The confidence they built on the track began to spill over, transforming their careers and relationships in unexpected ways. Liam grew older, and his small office became filled with the gratitude of those he had helped to find themselves. His wall was a mosaic of personal goals, a testament to hundreds of people who learned to love their journey. The man who once finished last was now standing on stage, leading a movement of souls seeking their own truth. His audience was not filled with elite athletes, but with everyday people who wanted to break their own internal barriers. He held up his first tattered notebook, a humble symbol that started a revolution of mindset for so many people. He shared his story, bridging the gap between the lonely boy in the rain and the mentor standing before them. He reminded them that the only opponent worth defeating is the version of yourself that you were yesterday morning. The crowd stood and applauded, not just for Liam, but for the potential they now recognized within their own hearts. He walked among them, not as a superior idol, but as a fellow traveler on the endless road of growth. Decades later, Liam sat on the same park bench where he once cried, watching a new generation run past him. He watched a child stumble and fall, sending a silent prayer of encouragement for the boy to rise again. When the child stood up and kept running, Liam nodded, knowing the spirit of resilience would live on forever. His hands were old and tired, but his spirit remained as fresh and hungry as it was in his youth. He understood that true success is not a destination you reach, but a continuous path that ascends to the stars. Liam closed his eyes, feeling completely whole, despite never having stood on the highest podium of a public stage. Across the world, thousands of his students were opening their notebooks, ready to beat their records from the day before. They were not competing against each other. They were united in the silent and noble pursuit of self-mastery. Liam stood up and walked slowly into the golden light, a solitary figure who had conquered the hardest world. He proved that the greatest victory available to a human being is never found in the defeat of others. It is found in the quiet, persistent courage to outgrow the person you were when you woke up yesterday. Every morning brings a reset clock, a fresh page, and a new opportunity to rise above your previous limits. Like the mountains and the sea, our growth is a natural force that should never be stopped by comparison. Look at the faces of those who found themselves. They radiate a light that no gold medal could ever shine. His story was eventually written down, not as a tragedy of loss, but as a manual for true greatness. In the end, the boy who was always last became the man who led thousands to their own personal finish lines. So, remember, your only true competition is staring back at you in the mirror, waiting for you to begin. The finish line is just a line. The man you became while crossing it is what matters. Thank you for watching Soul Growth Stories. Subscribe now to join us on this endless journey of becoming better.